So one thing I find myself struggling a lot with is a little bit justifying the the idea that it needs to be conflicting the wisdom within us from growing our um, our journey, I think, into connecting with that wisdom. So I'm gonna be a little bit more specific. I know that there was a time when I started to. I mean, there was there. I mean, first of all, I would start with this, and this is hard to for me to really come to terms with this because, like I've said in other parts, like in another podcast that I was doing, reading a book. I'm now starting a new season that I call them because it's a different book. Um, so the idea of that, and I would love to start a book club. So I will share a forum or something that if it doesn't need to be a podcast where it's just me with me, but more like gathering people into turning into a book club. I would love that and talk about talk about what it's coming up for us. And but so one of the things that I was thinking is that I, like in the past, there was a time when I was that I felt that I'm sorry, I lost my thought. Um, so what was I saying that I said in another podcast? Okay, it does. I don't know. It doesn't matter maybe, but this is what I was going to say. So there was a time in my life, whatever the time was, it doesn't really matter. But there was a time in my life that I started to say, I can see how I'm changing, how I'm being reactive. I didn't know the words because I hadn't studied Kabbalah to how I have now, but I I knew that I was changing according to what was happening to me. So I was one way. Let's say I was sharing or caring for others, right? So I would do something, but then they would do something bad, and then I mean, bad to me, and I would react in a way, in a very reactive way, and say, "Oh no, this is like I would do something that, by definition, I couldn't do." So, and I think this is like all around. Like, there's nothing new under the sun. So, of course, there are many books, many historians, like many um, I guess thoughts around that bring this idea that, for example, you cannot bring out something that doesn't exist in you, right? Like this idea of, let's say that if you hit someone or you say any mean words, if you don't have that in you, you're not going to react that way because there's so many times. And this is one of the books that I really love is called Extreme Ownership. It's a very different book. It's related to leadership. It's related to, but it, like, once you go deeper in the wisdom and understanding, just it makes so much sense. Like, you can get inspired by any, like, I guess my point on all of this is we tend to think of everything like kind of like a sum zero game, like, but or not everyone, but I do, because I tend to be like also very into loyalty, and I had this distorted idea to what being loyal was, because I was really thinking about the limitations of this world. Like, this person said this, and this say this other, versus this fact that there is a collective universal wisdom, and it doesn't really even matter. I remember this phrase that I loved it. Um, that it's a saying from someone in a song I have. Manuel Machado is his name. So he said something like, when when you sing your lyrics, make sure that the people sing it, and when people sing it, they forgot who wrote it. And and it says, like, and sometimes with copyrights and everything, right? And just try to make your work go to the people, because whatever you lose in your name, you gain in eternity. It again, it's I'm butchering and I'm not making justice, but it's such a beautiful concept and idea that we are so we are so controlled by the idea that I need to see the effect. I need to see everything through. And again, I love the paradox because there is a part that we do want to see things through. But again, this is in the idea of I'm going to give something and I need to see it through. I need to see that whoever gets it, make sure that I was the one that initiated this. As if I get to initiate anything. And the bigger part is the more that I just let go and let it flow and actually even step out of the way of how it's going to become, this is what gives us eternity. Now, the entire idea was going into, because I kind of like gave an idea on something. It wasn't even what I was thinking about, but I was more about this idea of, if you become someone that you're not just because you're being reactive. And I know that there was a time in my life when I was kind of like a little bit sick of that. Like I was doing so much work in myself, and then someone would come and it would do something, and I had every right to be mad, every right to act in a way that was not into the person that I was trying to become. And this wisdom was already there. Again, inspired, like from what, it doesn't really matter, but it doesn't take into effect because I was listening to a Kabbalah class, and it goes like it connects to the, for me, how I see it, it's like that kind of like wisdom that was kind of like there, available for me to use whenever I wanted or not to use it. I become plugged into that wisdom with a deeper study. And again, if Kabbalah is bringing so many things in you that you might think, oh no, this is not for me, this is Judaism, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But just be sure that you're growing your desire and try to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the source of that wisdom so that you can be plugged in it. So it's not really a matter of if you decide to use it or not. Everything in you is going to go with that energetic currency, kind of, that it's going to have that deeper wisdom. Of course there is a wisdom within us. uh, Absolutely, 1,000% there is. Each one of us, we are all coming from this universal wisdom, so there's no way it could be any different. And I know this is going to be particularly hard for those that don't think that there is, a creator um, or something more. Like they think, I don't know, we come from nothing, whatever. But even then, to some extent, it's kind of like the same process. How we, I guess, in the physical, right? Like we come from the same process, regardless of the mother that's having us, regardless of the father that we're coming from. Even with technology advancing, there are many aspects of it that are the same. So I guess my whole point was, I think how we keep on being young and how we keep on being alive is to not be okay. And again, it's a very big paradox because we need to be so happy with who we are and know that we are absolutely everything right now, and at the same time never being enough into what we can become.